About 6,500 properties were without water on Monday morning, hours before talks aimed at resolving an industrial dispute are due to begin. At the weekend, 1,300 households and businesses, mainly across Fermanagh, Tyrone, and Londonderry, were cut off from supplies. Out-of-hours repairs are not being carried out because of a dispute over pensions. As a result, NI Water staff are not working overtime. Northern Ireland Water and union representatives are due to meet later. Monday's talks will focus on a third offer made by the company. The unions have said that they believe it does not address the core issues. Speaking on BBC News Good Morning Ulster, NI Water Chief Executive Sarah Venning said the industrial action was not responsible and people had every right to be fed up. I think the reasonable and responsible thing for us to do is to find a way to enable customers to enjoy the essential services while we work with the unions, she said. People have every right to be fed up. Water is an essential public service and industrial action is not responsible. Ms. Venning said the company had put a realistic and reasonable offer on the table. We are doing absolutely everything within our power, we are working 24/7. It is managers that are driving around delivering water. We have been putting out bottled water. Our management team are committed and dedicated. She said the company would not step back at the meeting later. The key thing is to understand the detail of the offer and to see there is movement. It is a realistic and very reasonable offer. Ryan McKinney from the union, NIPSA, said its members were determined not to be the next pensioners in poverty. Mr. McKinney said, "When I speak to our members, and they are also affected by the loss of water, they say they aren't prepared to reinstate goodwill, they haven't experienced any goodwill for a long time from the company. The company has been very successful over the last number of years, they have reduced bills to hundreds of thousands of business customers. They have managed to do that because our members have taken pay freezes and taken redundancy and been forced out of the company. There has to be an end to that and people have to protect their long-term future." Northern Ireland Water said that the supply should be restored to customers by Monday afternoon. However, when supply tanks are being refilled, airlocks often cause more problems, so there are no guarantees over timing. Ciaran Woods and his family from Lough Macrory, County Tyrone, have been without water since Saturday morning. "We were resorting to primitive methods, like me standing outside and loading buckets of snow to melt so that we could flush the toilet." Ciaran Woods. He and his wife have 2 children, including an 8-month-old baby who was sick over the weekend. NI Water has now put in an emergency supply, but Mr. Woods said it had been very difficult and disruptive. "We were resorting to primitive methods, like me standing outside and loading buckets of snow to melt so that we could flush the toilet," he said. "There was the disruption of it all. The baby was unwell and running a high temperature. The things you would normally do like put him in a cold bath or shower were not open to us. We are by no means the worst off. What would it be like to be home with a newborn baby?" Mr. Woods said it was the 3rd time since Christmas that the family's water supply had been cut off. "If this is ongoing, are we to expect this every weekend?" he asked. Any level of sympathy there was quickly wanes when you are on the receiving end and you wonder would this be allowed to happen in Belfast or Lisbon. The fact that NI Water left emergency supplies in places that currently have water makes you wonder what is next. He called for accountability on the part of Northern Ireland Water in a resolution. Ailish Doyle from Draperstown, County Londonderry, said her supply had been cut off for a week. "Living without water has been very frustrating," she said. "I have 3 grown-up children, as well as myself and my husband. It has been very hard. At one stage, I was out gathering snow to get water to wash and to cook." NI Water said it would try to minimize disruption, but resources were limited. The company has a postcode search on its website for customers to check for information. In a statement on Monday, the company regretted the problems and warned that there could be further disruptions. Areas that may be affected include Ederney, Kesh, Lack, Castlederg, Killen, Killiter, Spamount, Irvenastown, Dromore, Tyrone, Drumquin, Omagh, Rural, and Trillick. Greencastle, Mountfield, 6 Mile Cross, Carrickmore, Glenhull, Loch Macrory, Rowskey, Birrock, Garvey, Escrack and Seskinnery. Claudy, Dungiven, Feeney, Gordnahay, Park. Last weekend, about 10,000 customers in counties Fermanagh and Tyrone were left without water after a pump at a treatment plant in Enniskillen broke down. NIPSA, Unite and GMB members voted last month for a work rule and withdrawal of on-call services and overtime in a row over pensions. NI Water said it remained committed to continued engagement with trade unions in an effort to resolve the dispute.